Hello again, people of YouTube. It's Deepak here in the DCS UH1 Huey module. I thought I would jump back into this wonderful helicopter in order to give you guys a quick session on radio navigation. This is going to be quite similar to the one I did in the MI8, but there are some small differences in the equipment in the Huey, and actually in some ways it's a little bit more capable. It has more radios. So what we're going to demonstrate first is basically the same type of thing I showed you in the MI8, which is the non-directional beacons, the ability to tune into those and to have them drive a radio compass. Now, the non-directional beacons, they will actually show up on here, on your standard compass. When you have it set to ADF mode, you can switch to VOR as well. In ADF mode, the skinny pointer will point towards your currently tuned non-directional beacon, and the other arrow will actually show your VOR if you have one tuned. So we're going to take a look at that first. Now, this is actually controlled from the let me get my pilot body out of the way, from your ADF radio, which is this radio right here. And in order to operate that, you have to switch it into ADF mode. You'll hear static, and we're going to tune to the local outer beacon, which at this airport is 493. So we have to right click once to switch it into that range of frequencies, and then we can use the mouse scroll wheel to actually tune it to the correct frequency. And you'll see that you've got this little signal meter just like we had in the MI8. There, that should be the correct one. Now if I pull up my knee board, we're at Krasnodar, and we're expecting dash dot dash dot dash dot. Very nice. Okay, so we now know that we're tuned. You can now see that that pointer is actually pointing towards the tuned non-directional beacon. And just like in the MI8, it's a good idea to actually move your heading bug and overlay it on the direction that you're currently getting off of your ADF needle, because it will kind of wobble a little bit and sometimes it'll go completely out of sync as well. Okay, so our ADF is tuned. What we're going to do next actually is tune to ATC, and let's request permission to take off. Oh, I guess I should really actually take it off of the interphone and select radio 3. There we go. Just do that as a matter of course, and in the meantime I'll put on my position lights. Actually, I'll get my searchlight ready as well, because we're going to use that a little bit later on. There we go, there's our searchlight out as well. Okay, so I'm going to request taxi. And there we go, cleared to runway 5. That means I need to taxi to the right. Okay, let's get into a hover. And make our way onto the taxiway, nice and gently, looking both ways. And make a right turn. Let's see if I can do this well this time, unlike the awful incident in the MI8 when I was trying to hover taxi that thing. Of course, it's completely pointless hover taxiing in MI8, but, you know, I like a challenge. And now, of course, I've drifted a bit high. You want to try and keep yourself quite low to the taxiway, because it makes it easier for other aircraft to spot you. If you're up at altitude following the line of the taxiway, that doesn't really do anyone any good. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit strange. Because the NDB that we want to fly to is actually in the other direction, I'm actually going to enter the runway and face the wrong way, and do my takeoff that way. So hopefully our traffic control doesn't get too upset with me. I don't know if this is something that you would actually do in real life, but it's what I'm going to do. Okay, so here we are on the runway. I'm just going to set her down. Okay. No, don't taxi the parking area. We want to take off. And there we go. Okay, let's go. And we're going to fly straight down this runway's heading and follow our radio compass pointer there. I'm not going to go too high, maybe only about 100 feet or so. Keep it quite close to the ground. And if we follow the line of the runway approach lights, we should directly overfly the inner marker and then the outer marker. We're actually tuned just now to the outer marker, so we'll continue to get the pointer pointing outbound as we go. Now, what we're also going to get is we're going to get audio for the inner and outer markers as well, and a little light will come on next to my compass. You'll see that in just a moment as we overfly this, which is the inner marker. No? Okay. That's strange. We should have gotten audio from the marker there. I don't know why that didn't happen. Well, let's just ignore that and we'll continue outbound. Sometimes the radio navigation doesn't quite do what you expect it to. If, for example, there's actually supposed to be a VOR station at this airport, but I cannot get it to work. That was something I was going to demonstrate today, but I might need to work that out and come back to you guys on that. Nonetheless, let's continue to the outbound marker, and then I'm going to demonstrate homing using the FM radio, which is another neat little feature of the Huey. It's primarily used for search and rescue. Right, there we go. That looks to me like the outer marker. Let's overfly that. And you should see the compass needle will swing round now. Okay, we're still not getting markers. I don't really know why that is. I wonder if actually I have to have... Do I have to have the VOR tuned to get those? Is that maybe my problem? Because I did have the VOR tuned the last time I did this, and it actually worked. Anyway, we're going to bring her around and stabilise into a little hover here. Okay. Just asking my co-pilot to take over for a moment while I go down here and take a look. Now, let's tune the VOR and see what happens. 115.80 is what my knee board claims we should have here. There. So that's tuned and we're powered. Yeah, I would wonder actually if perhaps those are actually triggered by the VOR, not the... There's not like separate equipment for that. Oh, and there we go. That's it. We've got the outer marker audio and the light has come on. So there you go. There you go. Okay, fair enough. So anyway, while that audio is playing, I've now proven that that does actually work. Although for some reason I can't get it to drive my VOR needles. But hey, we don't care about that right now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the FM radio, which is this radio here. It's marked FM COM. And I'm going to turn it to homing mode, and I'm going to tune 40 megahertz, and straight away you can hear an ELT tone. I'm actually going to turn down the marker beacon audio because it's a bit loud. So yes, we can now hear an ELT, and the course deviation pointers, now these would normally be used for ILS or VOR, but with the FM radio in homing mode, the FM radio is actually connected to these. So it's saying that we want to deviate course just to the right a little bit, and that will take us towards this ELT. Now I'm going to turn it down a bit, because otherwise it'll become quite annoying. And I'm going to take control back from my co-pilot, and we're going to go and hunt down this particular ELT and see what's going on. And actually something else I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the audio on my ADF, because that's going to get annoying as well. So, no Morse codes, just the ELT now. And let's see if we can make some good speed towards this, because perhaps there's someone needing our help. So you can see that as I move my nose left and right, that course deviation needle is swinging back and forth. And the simple rule is that in whichever direction it deviates, that's the heading correction I need to make to fly directly towards the source. Now again, just like in the MI8, we don't have any distance measuring equipment in the Huey, so we're not going to know how far away we are from any of these navigation aids. But you know, given that the ELTs are pretty short range, we're going to know that we're quite close to it, and we can use similar tricks as we did in the MI8, where we fly a slight offset and we take a look and see how much the needle deviates over time. That will give us a slight indication of our range to the target. And of course the other thing is, as we get closer, the signal will become stronger, and we will hear the audio get louder. You see, I've turned the volume down on the FM radio down to about 50%, and already we're starting to hear that getting louder and louder again, so that would indicate that we are definitely getting closer. So let's continue inbound. It's a rather nice evening here at Krasnodar. Oh, I've allowed it to deviate a bit off to the left. Let's change course. There we go. We're topping out at about 125 knots right now. I'm going to try my best to get there quickly. And you can see that my ADF is still tracking. It's showing me that that marker is now behind me. You can hear that marker beacon getting louder and louder. Sorry, marker beacon, I mean ELT. So I suspect we should get visual on whatever the source is soon. So I'm thinking the source must be somewhere out here in these fields, because I'm seeing more and more deviation from my needle now, even with just very small heading changes. And that signal is getting louder and louder. So let's keep an eye out, see if we can see... Oh, what's that? Is that the source? I guess we'll find out in a moment, because the needle will deviate hard. Yeah, there we go, we got a hard deviation there. So, right, I think we've just overflown whatever the target is. So I'm going to bring us around and reduce our speed. See if we can drop some height. I should actually have descended a bit before getting this close. I'm just going to circle slowly while descending just now. Let's see if we can see where this sound is coming from. I see something over there. Could that be what we're looking for? Let's turn the chopper until we get the needle. Oh, there we go. Right, okay, we've got the needle again. So what is this? Just looks like a crater. Well, there you have it. This is the source of our sound. It's just a piece of wreckage. So, let's set her down. And there we go. We're on the ground. And all of a sudden I'm actually getting a signal out of my VOR as well. How odd. Okay, I'm going to turn off my FM radio anyway. So that's no longer driving the course deviation indicator. And yet straight away you can see that it's showing us a deviation to the right. So, at this stage I'm going to take off. Also you can see with the selector in the VOR position, both needles will point towards the VOR. So if I turn it to ADF, you get the ADF on the skinny pointer and the VOR on the wider pointer. I'm going to leave it on VOR just now. So let's take off and fly towards that. And we can hear the Morse code from that as well. And we will almost certainly find that that Morse code is dash dot dot dash dot dash dot dot. And so you can see that the pointer is pointing directly to the source. Oh, actually it just went off. It was saying that we were deviated quite far to the left. It was suggesting that we want to turn far off to the right. I'm wondering if actually what I thought was a VOR is actually an ILS, and it might be that it only broadcasts off the end of the runway, so that would explain it. Let's fly towards the approach for these two runways and see if we can pick that signal back up again. I was thinking that I wouldn't be able to demonstrate the VORs today because I thought it wasn't working, but in actual fact, yeah, I've misunderstood. What I thought was a VOR is actually an ILS. I assume. Let's see if we pick that signal up again. No, it would seem that I'm incorrect. .115.8. Oh well, I think we're going to have to leave the demonstration of the VORs to another day. I don't know why it's not working right now, but I will find out and I'll record another video just about VORs. So, just to recap, the two radios I've demonstrated today were the ADF radio, which is shown down here. If you tune that and you set your compass to the ADF mode, the skinny pointer will direct you towards your non-directional beacon. And your FM radio here, if you tune a frequency for something that's broadcasting and set it into the homing position, your course deviation needles below your compass will point you towards the target. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.